legal articulation.
It's only because you mentioned about business rates, and at the end of the day, if we're paying business rates, then we should be allowed to join bids and have as much say.
As long as it's over the threshold, that would be the case. That would be the case. I'll come back to you. But the point, the differential at the moment, which it looks around that £20 level between a pitch on the market and a comparable street pitch. You've got to also bear in mind that there is the cost of the licence fee for the street, which is another £10 a month. So the differential actually is around £10. Now,
yeah,
it is.
But the stalls that we're on are smaller than the 3x3 that are up on the.
Exactly. So one
so
could
that's
argue,
why I've got the £20 difference.
Well, there's around £10 difference now. Is what I'm saying. But in the market, you'll get a bigger pitch than you do currently as a street trader. So in theory, actually, if you worked it out on a pro rata basis, it's reasonably comparable in that you'll be getting a bigger pitch on the market area. So as always, because of those legal issues, the rates issues, and others, it's not quite a like-for-like comparison that we're talking about here. So there are other factors that we've got to build into that analysis.
Can I just say actually about the licensing, you referred to the licensing for street traders being fairly simple. It's simple licensing for them. But of course, when you're a market trader, you've actually got far more security under a market as a market trader, because you don't have to have your license renewed annually. And that's obviously a constant worry for people who are trading as street traders, because you might say, well, it's £24.75 this year, but next year it's going to be far higher. But certainly for the Canterbury market traders, they would have more security trading as Canterbury market traders. So it might be a simple issue for licensing for street traders. It's far more complex, and it's more in their interest for them to be market traders.
I do take your point, Julie.
Supported by a national federation as well.
I understand. I mean, I think that the only thing I would say, and I point to the evidence and look at the history of it, in that the licensing renewal for street traders, which goes to our licensing team, the only reason a license will be revoked is if there is a contravention of any of the key rules, legal or otherwise, that trader will have. There's not one instance that I've been able to find of any street trader who's not had their licence renewed.
There is fruit and veg. He had his licence and then he had it renewed. You was just talking not long ago about wanting to get fresh food, and he was the biggest asset to our market.
Yes,
and he got thrown out.
And you know why? Because he contravened some of the market rules that were the street trading rules that were in place, Steve. That was why.
But I think you have to understand, Bill, that when you have street traders who are trading under a licence that is renewed annually,
That's okay, please.
people, when this is these people's livelihoods that have been toyed with ever since this whole policy came up in 2020, when the market traders themselves weren't even consulted about the plans. They had to learn that from the front page of the local newspaper. That's really shocking. That's the way that they've been treated, and I don't see a lot of difference in between time. I came on board with this because I really love markets, and so do many other residents. And lots of disabled people contacted me because they said, one great thing about Canterbury is it has very good disabled parking, so we come and we use the market. When the market was disbanded, and the fear of the whole market being disbanded affects the whole community. So that's why I got involved in this. But the more I have talked to market traders, to street traders, to councillors, to everyone involved in this, the more it actually stinks. Because I don't see a lot of respect, really, from the council for people whose livelihoods are really on the line. And when I talk about street trading licences having to be renewed every year, it's not just about what you've just said. Well, they're okay as long as they don't contravene the laws or regulations. What it is that these people feel really insecure about speaking out in case their pitch is moved, or they have problems with inspectors. You're bringing in a new market manager. you know, you say that the new budget is £61,000 a year for this, but you're planning to pay £45,000 a year to this new person whose job it is to get events going. Where are the events going to happen? In St George's Street. St George's Street is the location for the market.
Yes, on a
We
Wednesday
expect
it is,
that
Julie,
to.
it is.
So what I'm saying is, the fact that you put a market trader, a Canterbury market trader, on a street trader licence, and already you were taking away a lot of the status they enjoyed previously, a lot of the protection that they enjoyed previously too, because they were protected by a federation. They also had, you know, their own market chairman here, their association chairman. All that's been stripped away from them.
But now we're building
they've
it
had
back,
to
Julie,
wait.
that's the point.
Well, you're saying-
From April next year, there will be a start of 1 day a week for the market to come back in. And that's an opportunity for these guys to come in under all those contexts that you've just given, to start it off again.
Okay.
And all credit, I think, to the current administration for reversing what was gone before and bringing in that new opportunity. And I think that I would like to say, and Steve may cast me down, and Babs and others might cast me down as people that, as traders that I deal with, is that they know that I have tried to be flexible and work with them as much as I can to make sure that they can have as viable a business as they possibly can.
Bill, you know perfectly well that there was numerous correspondence, really important correspondence last year that was just simply ignored by you and by David Hart. I know that because I was writing a lot of it.
What correspondence are you?
Correspondence that preceded the actual disbanding of the market.
Julie, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah,
And
we can discuss this
no,
afterwards.
I would
But-
do, because I think there's
Yeah,
other people here
absolutely.
that
Well,
probably
there's
want
a
to
few
get
points that were just
and
brought up, that's all.
I'm happy to have this
Okay,
discussion.
absolutely.
And in truth, it's probably overdue, given
Absolutely
the
fine.
noises
Let
that have
me
been
just
going
say,
on.
while you mentioned just then this one trading day,
Sorry, I'm in the wrong
al-
meeting.
The market always traded for 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Fridays.
It did.
And it's my understanding that there was actually a meeting that took place, and where it was put to the market traders that if they gave up one trading day, Friday, because the Canterbury wanted to really concentrate on events for St George's Street, if they could just come back for 1 day, then they could actually have the street trading pitch fees that they have paid all this year, £28.75. And now all that's out the window with all this.
Julie, I can assure you it was not like that.
When we had that meeting, Bill, I mean, you're talking about me now. So when we had that meeting, and on the table was a Wednesday and a Friday market, and I knew that you wanted events to go on there on the Friday, or you didn't want to overlap it with because we would be working less Fridays than probably the more events you was getting. So we discussed, and we did discuss, even though you wouldn't confirm, but we did discuss that the rent should be £28.75. We did discuss that between us all, because that's the one I've mentioned. That's
Steve, I could never agree the fees.
I think I know where we got confusion there, because I was at that meeting too.
yeah.
And at that time, we're not going to do it now, but we talked about an experimental period of time, didn't we? Where we wanted to group the stalls together in a quasi market and see how it went. Okay, whether the street traders want to come together to make a sort of quasi market to try it, to see whether we could work that out. And I said, at that case, that's fine. We wouldn't go for market rates. It would just be like, just in trial it. It's not a market, is it? So there'd be that group of market stalls come together. Just people like yourself paying street trading licence fee, but you'd be grouped together in the market and tried it. I remember talking about that.
We did.
We thought it'd be quite a good idea because
we
weren't
did.
worried
And
about space.
we did look at it, but the
Yeah.
trouble was the business rates
Yeah.
direction, because it actually, speaking
It
to
was
the
probably
business
wrong
rates
that we said
people,
it, but
even at that, do you remember
Yeah.
the term that we used was co-location, if you remember
Yeah,
at the
that's
time,
right.
when we were trying to co-locate people together so that we could try and do that before it wouldn't wash, and they said that if that happened, it would still be liable for business rates, which meant we would never have been able to
Yeah.
charge the same.
Well, if there was a
level.
misunderstanding then, and the misunderstanding was that the market traders surrendered a Friday, which is a good market day, on the basis that they understood that they were going to pay £28.75, then really you should be offering them 2 days when it gets to April, rather than this one
Can
quarter
I
day.
say, and listen, I really don't want to turn this into a he said, she
No,
said
no,
situation.
no,
I
no.
really don't, because I think actually we lose the the opportunity and the bigger vision if we start dragging it down. Because actually, what I want to talk about is where we're going to take the market and how we're going to build it and build on the marketing and the promotional activity and get people again coming in to build on what
I've
we're
got
trying
to
do.
say this because I think all the market traders would agree with me this. I mean, Anton Walden has really sort of like worked hard with us to sort of like make it work for us. I think everybody agrees on that, right? So he's really worked hard to try and get this to work for us the best possible way that he can get it to work for us. And I just feel as though that a part of me tells me that the only way you can get things done properly is if you carry on talking and talking to the people what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I had an email from you, Bill, at that meeting, just after that meeting, we will keep you in the loop. I've never heard from you or anyone else since that day.
But can I just say this? There has been nothing.
But,
nothing so significant has happened since
Well,
that
it's all
discussion.
gone in the paper.
That discussion.
Yes,
well,
it went in the
I've
paper.
not
They
been-
haven't been told. They weren't told that the market was going to be disbanded. They didn't know about this budget and how important it was. They learnt that from the paper, and they also learnt about the consultation from the paper.
I'm sorry,
That is a
Julie,
real
can I
lack
stop
of
there?
consultation.
Steve, good to see you. Sorry I didn't see you earlier. I can't remember where I knew you from. I'm Councillor Connie Nolan. Steve, have I ever disrespected you?
No, you haven't, no.
Absolutely.
No, and I've got.
Absolutely, and we've had free and frank discussions, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we were in a room, Alan, Bill, me, you and Jeb, and we had a very long meeting, didn't we? Free and frank, and we said we'd keep you in the loop.
Mm.
Will you believe me if I say actually nothing has changed to keep you, to go back to you until now? Do you remember I said to you, we're not anarchists? Do you remember that? I said, we're not anarchists, we've got to go through a process.
Talking about me.
I think I actually said the bloody Tories. I said the bloody Tories sort of went through a process to close it down. No, telling me to shush, but it's too late. I should probably record it.
But did you let him know then? Did you
Julie,
keep him in the loop by telling him about the consultation?
I spoke to you last week. I said the consultation had to take place.
The consultation come through from me through an email that I got, but that was later after the papers are already issued.
This is how they
to
find
me.
out.
And so was the
But I go out of
budget.
my way,
That's not
Julie,
keeping
to
in the loop, is
talk.
it?
Shush a minute. I go out of my way to talk.
Excuse me.
No, I know. Hang on a minute. You interrupted me. Steve, did I go out of my way to talk to you on the stall?
You've talked to me on the stall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I haven't got
Okay,
no problems with
There
that.
you go. So
But-
I don't disrespect.
Look, Connie, the council consists, it's not one body. It consists of council officers like Bill here,
Absolutely.
and it consists of elected politicians like yourself,
Absolutely.
right? So, you know, when I say to Bill that the traders have been treated with disrespect, I know that for a fact because I have been, for 18 months, I have been trying to fight for these people's livelihoods, and I've authored emails and I've been part of email discussions with Ben Fitter-Harding, the previous administration, and I know how much these people have been ignored in correspondence, they haven't had replies, and how they have had to go public on Whitstable Views by saying, this is something that I sent to Bill Hicks, asking him, saying that it was so important, please, I need a reply within 7 days, and it was left for 3 weeks, and they had to go public on Whitstable Views with a blog piece. That is disrespecting these people.
But can I just jump?
For 6 months.
Yeah, but
And that's
certainly
the first thing I
that-
wanted to do.
And the
Well,
problem
that
with
big
this
movement
bill,
about-
the problem with this bill is you've got this planned speech, but part of this is your vision, you're actually bringing up points that really have to be tackled. Otherwise, we're sitting here
No,
and we're
my
listening to
point
things
is,
that are
Julie,
inaccurate.
No, but Julie, my point is this. You mentioned about the communication point, and I don't disagree, because we haven't been manned adequately and appropriately, and that's why the positive to me is getting someone in who's going to devote the time and the resource to be part of that communication process and work with Steve and the guys on the market and take it forward. So that's why I think there's an opportunity here. And I talk about vision, but I think that all these pieces coming together actually are very positive in terms of what it's saying to the traders, be they street traders or market traders going forward. I think this is a real opportunity that we need to grab with both hands. And that's why I really look forward to your feedback on the consultation to see what you're going to input on it.
But you've had the consultation before, That's the same sort of consultation as what we had when the Tories was kicking us out. So I can't really see any point, and none of the traders can see
They're
any
running
point.
it
Questions that are
over
the same.
Christmas when people are either away.
Well, it started on the
They're on
13th of
holiday,
November.
they're busy with their families, and they're offline.
From the 13th of November it
And
started.
these guys' licences are due to be renewed when?
January.
So, people actually feel like they're being muzzled here. That, by the time that these new licences come through, the consultation is a done deal. I don't know why it's taken this long.
I don't understand
Get
what the
this wrong.
licenses, what the purposes of the licenses in this discussion. We're here talking about what the market will be from April of next year. And
Well, that's if they can possibly afford the fees that you've put up. They've only got one trade at the moment. A street trader,
But can I
a
ask-
street
just
trader
one-
can
just one
trade
point,
7
though.
days a
One
week for
point.
£24.75.
Can I just say, Julie, they were paying this rate previously as market traders.
As a market trade for 2 days a week, but as I say, street traders can currently trade for 7 days a week for £24.75. Now they've got the prospect, the wonderful prospect, the great vision of returning on a Wednesday to pay at least £50 for a stall and up to £81.15.
Well, if they're taking
But
6
how are you
by 3
making
metre
that
stall.
attractive for these guys to return to a
And
market?
I tell you, and I've just outlined, Julie, and as I say, I'm very happy to keep this conversation going with you, but I'm conscious also there's a room full of people
Okay,
here
carry
that
on.
might have other
and
views.
to be fair, I have to go in 10 minutes and I want to hear about the vision. And while Julie, you may well be speaking on behalf of all of
I'm
the
not.
all of the
I'm not speaking
well
on
then
behalf
I
of them.
would suggest
I
that you've
don't allow
taken
him to be, but,
you are taking up a lot of the time and the
Yeah, but
energy in the room.
I'm not going
so
to
I
listen
would
to
like to hear
inaccuracies. That's why they've been picked up by Steve.
which is why
Let's hear Bill then.
And
Let's
Bill,
hear Bill.
and you can speak to Bill separately
Not
about
separately.
those issues.
We can talk about this afterwards. Let's hear about the vision, and then we'll all chip in.
Yes,
okay?
let's.
Right.
Well, the point through the consultation is that you can help design that vision, and you can put in there the sort of things that you want to be included. We can't take this as a done deal. We still have to get this approved and get the feedback from people via the wider consultation and just in this room. So this is the opportunity that we have to do and that we have to fill it in. But the point is, going back to the fundamental point about the opportunity, is that this would be the first step in a number of steps that will build on the reputation of the market and what the market can provide to the people of Canterbury. And it's on the back of that that it will get the commercial success that it needs to meet some of the points that Julie's making about the commercial viability and the long-term longevity of the market as a viable operation within the city walls and also outside in Herne Bay and Whitstable and other areas across the district. So, we're already in discussions with the National Traders Market Federation about getting young traders to come in and do some young trader activity. They've got a very successful programme. We're already beginning discussions with people at the universities and the colleges to see how they can input into the market as well. And all this is in addition to the existing market frameworks that happen around the whole of East Kent that we can start that conversation with to get those fresh fruit, local product, everything else as part of that market and really reinvigorate it.
I will say, let me say, that the entrepreneur market was a Thursday market which was introduced, and me and a few other traders was brought in to sort of like help all the other entrepreneurs get up and running and started. And this was brought in by Caroline Hicks, lovely lady who spent a lot of time with me to try and make this work. And we couldn't even get it off the ground because these guys from the university, what are you talking about there and everything like that, they have a different way of a vision and a different way of thinking, and they couldn't get insured, and they couldn't afford insurance. They couldn't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, but it's true.
No.
So it fell apart as quick as it started, and I think Root was one of the ones what was helping me do it. And the fact is that I know what your visions are, but they're not out there. I'm telling you, you can have as many visions as you want, and they're not out there. You can try. Like what happened was, a long time ago, somebody said to me, "Can we introduce the farmers market along with along with the street trading market in Herne Bay. I said, fine. I said, let's get it started. They said, what time do you start? I said, 6 o'clock till 4. They said, oh no, that's no good. We start at 10 and can finish at 2. See, this is entirely different people, and they work. You know, when they do certain, what do they call it? What does Andy's brother do? Like but what does he sell? Yeah. Specialised meat and that, and they can only work certain venison like. They can only work certain times of the year. So that's when. So the rest of the time they can't work. So we had this as well, where I was trying to get this up and running. So I'm not saying that I couldn't do it so you can't. I'm not saying that for 1 minute. But what I'm saying is that there's been a lot of money put in already for this, and trialled, and it's fallen apart. It never got started, never got off the ground, and that's with people what like myself, what are prepared to give free time to try and get this to happen, and it couldn't. And so this is what, when you say about looking at, you know, getting artists and all that, everything, whatever else you want to get in, and the universities and that, yeah, I think it was, at first I thought it was a very good idea, but if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, then I would be saying, yeah, it's great.
And I'm not discounting what you say, Steve. I'm sure that there'll be some stuff that falls by the wayside and doesn't work. But I think we need to, for the residents of Canterbury, I think we need to try some new and exciting stuff that will be engaging to them as well. And on the backbone of what you guys already deliver, I think that's the step that we can build on. And I'm not saying it'll be easy. I mean, that young traders thing through the national traders, you know, it's dealing with the guys we were talking to, and they're very excited about it. And I think it's an opportunity for us to look at next year. Whether it will become a long-term thing, I don't know. But I think we should give it a go and see where it takes us.
I'll just chip in a little bit there.
Sure.
I think some really good stuff there. And I think we break it down to why we're consulting and the way we're consulting and why we're doing what we're doing and why we're being cautious and careful. But I think if you take it into its roundest sense of the word, then we believe that, you know, the market in Canterbury is going to be like the hub, if you like. You know, hopefully we can expand out and improve, you know, Herne Bay market, maybe Whitstable market. Well, I don't know, but we can expand here and take over this. And I think very important to us in our vision was the fact that we weren't going to box the traders that are there now, just to say, like, you can have 1 day or 2 days a week general market, and we won't let you street trade, because some market, I've got no idea whether some people want to just street trade 1 or 2 days a week. They might just not think the general market's for them. We wanted that opening to still be there, much as we get criticised for street trading. There's not everyone loves that idea. You realise that, so we take a lot of flack for that, but we're willing to take that flack because we feel it's got an opportunity for people to trade on the street if they wish to. It's cheaper, it's less secure and all that whole stuff, and all that, but it can suit some people. We also realise that, you know, there are big advantages in having a group of stalls on the general market and working with each other and creating that really good selling environment. And we want that to happen as well. So as a cabinet, we knew that's what we wanted to do, to bring the market back, but with it they come all these other bits and pieces, these other things that we wanted to put in place, the extra. We also have a vision for, you know, improving the actual dynamics of the city centre, having extra markets, extra trading, all those things we talked about as well, the vision. So the vision's very wide. Now, like all visions, sometimes all of it comes about, sometimes bits of it do, but a vision always changes too, you know, and let's be honest with ourselves, but we had the courage, I think, as a council, to put our money where our mouth is, so we consulted on this. So we've taken quite a significant chunk of money and a significant take of risk to us, if you like,
What, the
credibility.
£61,000, you mean, the budget for the
It's
market?
that, and also there's time,
But there's
energy.
£45,000 of that going to a market. That's just what I said,
No.
you know. I mean,
Just clear that.
the
just 1
street
second.
trade, you talk about street trading, the street pitches. One reason why the street trading pitches are so bad, I was at the market today and last week, they can't really trade when it's wet from a street trading pitch. I know that's the former administration brought in this, but it was all under the same policy that came from the council. These little black things. I stood there today and watched a woman get totally soaked while trying to buy something from Steve and Julie here.
I really
because
hope,
you know,
stuff like that is actually in the consultation, because we need to.
But why does it have to be so complicated? Why weren't we meeting like this in May, when you and Michael here, with all, I'm sure, the best intentions, made this an electoral promise to bring back Canterbury Market? And Michael said it's an easy win. He was quoted as saying it's an easy win, and it should be cheap to bring back, relatively cheap to bring back, and we will be able to do it quickly. I think that the pair of you, the Labour and Lib Dem politicians, have recognised that you were quite naive when you said that, but it gave the whole of the residents, the market supporters, the campaign and the traders a completely wrong view, because everyone then thought, great, we've got rid of Benfitter Harding, we've got rid of that administration, we've now got people who have backed the campaign all the time through, up until the market being suspended, and now we've got all this happening, which is, when you say, well, we'll have a bit of this, and Bill talks about flexibility, but it's like you're all experimenting, but you can't experiment with people's livelihoods. And if you were to go down there and see on a rainy day how these guys are trying to trade from street trader stalls, which are impossible to trade from in the rain. When they had their gazebos, they could trade in the rain. Now they don't have gazebos because they're no longer market traders. And these are all relevant points that really should have been sorted out with meetings. And we were always excluded from them. All we ever got, as you know, was 3 or 4 minutes to speak in the Guildhall. And you don't have enough time to get this out. It's perfectly possible. Faversham has a thriving market, and I don't know. This is not rocket science, running a successful market when you've got people like Steve Bamber who have been a market trader for 35 years. If you only consulted with him more and had meetings like this, where we could actually, instead of being told what the council's vision is from a council officer's point of view, a policy point of view, and getting things through, and a politician's point of view, which is, yeah, we're not going to let you down, guys, we said we'd do this and we'll get it through, even if it means Canterbury Market is in no way resembling what it was, or anything that's recognisable to local people as a market. A market is its location. These guys wanted 3 things. They wanted the market to return to its original location in St George's Street. They wanted their market traders status, which gives them more security, not to be street traders. But they don't want to have to pay sums up to £81.15 to trade only for 1 day a week. It's nonsensical. So what's being offered to them really doesn't make financial sense. And what the result will be is that Canterbury Council will end up with more street traders, which I believe that's actually what Canterbury Council officers and the people that have guided this policy have always wanted.
I have to disagree with you, because I personally think what will happen is there'll be more of a mix based on that flexibility, Julie, because I think people that want to trade on that Wednesday market day will trade on it, but I think, and I know speaking this with Steve, he'll probably take a couple of days a week when he wants to be a street trader as well. And so I'm hoping that this proposal will offer the best of both worlds to what Steve and his traders are trying to do. Rather than restricting to the 1 or 2 days a week that he would have had traditionally as a market trader, he could trade 7 days a week, Wednesday as a market trader, and the other 6 days a week as a street trader.
Yeah, and I agree there, right? But I 100% agree with that, because some traders do want to work
other days. Isn't it? Because Julie's saying that you can either be a market trader or a street trader.
No, you can be a market trader.
And you kind of saying you can either be one or the other. We're letting the street traders down because we don't have the market.
Well, you've got a street trader licence.
I don't get it.
You've got a street trader licence, haven't you? Which is annual for the year. I mean, what if you're going to say, what do you want to do, guys? You can trade for £24.75 7 days a week as a street trader, or you can trade, or you can have 1 day a week where on a Wednesday, where you might have to pay up to £81 for a
Your
gazebo.
figures are wrong,
But
Julie.
you're only going to have the gazebo
Using a
there.
like-for-like, apples-and-apples comparison, if Steve wants to trade as a market trader, he will pay around £50. It's low £50. At the moment, he's paying £40 a day, or will be from April with the new budget proposals. He'll be paying £40 a day for a street trading pitch of exactly comparable like-for-like things.
It's only £30.
It's only 30.
It's 30, but you're paying £126 a year for your licence to be a street trader.
104.
So that's £10 a month. £10 a month that you're having to pay, and factor that into the costs as well.
But
Plus,
would
as
there
I
be
mentioned,
3 days a week, say, where they're trading as street traders on street trading pitches, on the piddly little things where you can't trade in the rain, and then when they go over to be a market trader on a Wednesday, then they get a gazebo pitch?
well, they'll
Is that
get
what
the
you're
size
saying?
to be a 3x3 pitch as a market trader, and I think it's technically a 3x2 pitch, isn't it? Technically as a street trader, so it is slightly bigger.
So what used to happen, we're going back to the old style market, where we had, I had, it would be, what would it be, how many metres would that have been? I had sort of 8 metres, wasn't it?
Probably
8 metres.
8 metres by 3 metres. That's when we could protect our, and that's what we was paying, that rents then. So what we've done in theory is you've brought it down from that, calling that say like £70, and then we're going into this for 54. So really and honestly, what you've done is you've kept the prices the same, but the actual size of the pitches have come right down. Now I know the way they used to do it, and I think everybody will tell you this, you used to get, and I'm not going to say who brought it in, but it was always implemented, that you paid one full pitch and half of the next pitch, and half the next pitch, and that had been going on for years. So you paid for your first 3 metres, you paid 45, and then half for the next one, half for the next one. So you got in theory you got 10, 20, 30 foot for 90 quid, yeah. So what you're actually doing now is bringing this back down to a 3 metre by 3 metre
For £54.
to £54.
Or if you wanted a 6x3 metre, it's the £81.
Yeah, so that's £15 for £81, and we was trading before. You're saying for light, we was trading before on 9 metres by 3 was three gazebos for 90 quid, because they used to do 45, half and half.
It was good while it lasted, Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah, but no,
You know,
no,
it's
but
true,
no,
but
but the
yeah,
thing is
yeah,
this was
We can't
brought in.
advertise
This
that,
was
can we?
brought in
Yeah.
to keep the traders there.
Yeah.
But
Steve,
see, so in theory, nothing's going to get off the ground, because
No, it's not
to
going to get off.
be clear on that. I mean, that's the offer. Okay, so put that in, in the consultation. I'll take it on my head now, but I get that. I mean, what we need to understand from all of you, we've been really honest, okay, that we are listening to that consultation, because there's loads of things. I'm also balancing other people, right? Many of the shops are not keen on street trading, they're not keen on the market.
Many of them are, because they get
And many
increased
of
footfall
them, and I
with
say
them.
many of them are. So it's not going to be one or the other. It's
No.
not binary. So there's lots of people that, if we said, oh well, you can only have a market, you can't do street trading, there'd be loads of people that wouldn't like that, and vice versa. It's similar goes. So we're trying to be flexible over it. We're trying to balance all sides of this argument off. We're not going to get it right all the time. We've been listening to what people have been saying as well. Mainly, lots of people we're talking to, lots of traders, all sorts of, and I understand many of the things you're saying. I do get that, and I do get the fact that it's a different way of thinking. And it will take time to settle in, and I'm sure there'll be lots of things that we can chop and change. And to answer, Julie's point earlier, it sounds like we're experimenting. I think we are a little bit.
Yes,
to be honest.
that's fine, but you cannot experiment with people's livelihoods. That's
People's
all I'm
livelihoods
saying.
are going to be clear. When we've got a general market, there'll be the general market rate. Well, whether you agree or price or but you'll have that agreed. Initially it'll be on 1 day or 2 days or whatever we end up having it, and it'll be the price, and you'll have that general fee, and we'll have the street trading pitches that you can buy a licence for, and you can pay.
And why
for
is
them
it
as well.
only 1 day a week now?
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah, go on,
We just
please.
had someone leave because they wanted to make a point.
Yeah.
And they felt they didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not
So can I
surprised.
start at the back? Gentleman at the back with glasses, are you a trader?
I'm an assistant manager, yes.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not
Have you had an opportunity to say what you came to say?
No, I haven't.
Would you like to say it now,
No,
please, sir?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't, okay.
Okay.
A lot of people are too
Do you
worried
feel
to do
threatened, by the
that.
way? Because you want to talk afterwards, we can.
Yeah,
all
we
right?
can talk after.
And the other
please
point,
do.
of course, is please do fill in the consultation forms and put
Yeah.
your thoughts and
Yeah.
everything.
No, we're just scared of speaking up, obviously, because we
Yes.
don't want to lose our street traders licence, so we think, oh, we say something out of place, oh, but you,
I can
you
assure
guys
you,
not so,
I can
not
assure
so,
you,
not
you
so
want
good.
to lose it by speaking up and
Yeah,
speaking
because
your
Anton
mind.
is fantastic, he's really, really helpful man, I've dealt with Anton, you know, over 10 years.
Yeah.
And this, we fear that if we do speak up or we say the wrong thing, you might say, oh, see him or see her or whatever.
Probably,
Get rid of
yeah,
them,
get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of them.
And
Yeah.
That's-
I can give you my personal assurance
Yeah.
that if anybody says to you, you know, because you spoke up, I'll go and
Well, they
So
won't
like
say
even
that.
today, when
They
I come
won't
in-
say that,
Even
Connie.
today when I come into the meeting, I thought, oh, I don't want to say nothing, you know, I've said to,
Well, that's a
I've said to
huge
you know,
shame,
I've
isn't
just
it?
done my
Because
It's a
that's
huge
in
what
shame,
case-
and it's
in
because
case-
they haven't got their
Bill, in
street
case
trader
that is taken away
licences
from
renewed
you. I
yet.
mean, I always behave myself when I work as a street trader. I'm never, yeah, we're never out of line.
But with Bab saying that, right, so that's why they rely on me to do it, because they, but again, I'm not in that position no more, because obviously of ill health, but the thing is that I do feel what he's saying is so correct, because that rebels on me as well, doesn't it? And it does, well, you ask my wife. It's because there's always easy way of getting rid of a street trader.
Yeah.
So easy. It just turn around and say, you revoke your licence. Just,
And a
it's-
brilliant example of that, Steve, is the fact that we actually had a public meeting in July, not this year, last year. Michael was there, Mel Dawkins was there, and the traders were really brave enough to say that the consultation report, which had been authored by Bill, which showed declining levels of income for the market, right, did not give, there were no mitigating explanations for the fact that the council had not taken payment of their pitch rents for some. Now, because of that, they spoke up. I said, you know that if you guys actually say this publicly and it's reported, you're likely then to get a big bill. They got bills the next day, virtually, for £2,000.
that was a ploy, I think, of Friends Administration. Can we just go back to my...
But it's still relevant.
It is relevant, Julie, but can I just go back to my question? Is there anybody in the room that would like to say something that feel that they haven't had the opportunity to do so up until now?
Yeah, are they going to put our gazebos up on the market for all this amount of money that we're paying if we go back? Are you providing the gazebos?
I mean, as we did with the street trading, I think we're hoping to get more equipment available on the same basis that we did it when you guys moved to street trading. So there's an opportunity to get a new gazebo on a good trading price that we can then talk about how
But
we
we
do.
don't want them like these flimsy ones up the top there because they won't last 5 minutes.
Well,
because
again,
of the
we've got the opportunity,
Not bought anything
again,
like
put
that.
it in there, we haven't brought anything yet. We can have that discussion, and I know Steve again has had that discussion with me previously, that if we do buy something, to bring him into that equation so that we can make sure it's the relevant stuff that is.
Yeah, but
is
the new
sterling.
market manager that's going to come in, is he going to put them up?
No, I don't think he will, because by the time
it might be a
he
lady.
comes on board, I think we'll have done that deal. If we're looking to get up and running by April, we're going to have to put an order in, you know, February, whatever it is, March time next year, to get those things sorted out. So there will have to be a dialogue between us to work out what that will look like in April, on the assumption that this is what comes
Julie,
through.
this lady said she
Yeah.
wanted to speak.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I just want to know, is there a job description of the market?
Not yet, no.
That's what
And
we're
when is
consulting
that going
about.
to be out?
We're consulting, aren't we? That's the whole point. We want.
Well, how can we
there's a-
consult
there's a-
on whether
there's a
that's
load-
good
there's a-
value or
no,
not?
there's
It's
a load of
£45,000
questions
of the £61,000
There's a
budget. We
load-
don't know what he's doing.
There's a load of
Or
questions.
she.
Or she.
Or she.
Yeah, there's a load of questions in there where you're saying, like, what do you see? How do you feel? We can have loads of, hopefully we can have loads of comments, loads of them. Then we can start to focus on what people think
It's
is the right
chicken
thing
and
to
egg.
do.
It's chicken
It is
and egg.
chicken and
Sorry,
egg.
you wanted
We're
to
going
ask
to
a
take
question.
a gamble, and that's
It doesn't make sense. First of all, I'm sorry I missed the first, but I think this is going to be the usual event where you call in and look at a display and answer the questions and your comments. I realised it was going to be a form.
Me too.
So I
Yeah,
obviously
fine.
would have come earlier had I
We can
realised.
show some pictures.
Yeah, I missed that. One of the things I would like to say was that the previous council had a plan to distribute market stalls in different places over Canterbury. And I have been concerned to see how for some traders it just hasn't worked. One of the locations that obviously was not a very good quality one was along Station Road West. And a very good baker for about 4 or 5 weeks set up a stall to sell there. They sell very successfully in Faversham Market. They're called Gilder.
Have you called it now? Are you called it?
Yes,
Have you asked permission?
I did.
Right,
Yes, I asked Seb and I asked Bill Hicks.
This lady is.
I've only
Do
just
you
come
mind
in.
if your questions being
You
handled?
actually
No, she
asked
doesn't
about
mind.
photos.
I don't
Yeah.
mind.
She doesn't mind.
I thought you were recording earlier on, so if you record and you
Yeah,
transmit,
but I think
that's
the
great
lady
control.
over there is recording,
Well,
aren't you?
no,
I'm
she's-
I'm writing notes, I'm not
Yeah.
recording anything.
No, this is Jo from BBC Radio Kent, so
Okay.
she's
I'm just
reporting.
making notes, I'm not recording.
Do you mind me recording?
No, I
No,
don't
no,
mind.
she's just said that she doesn't.
Check it,
She's
so
just said.
fine, just show some respect.
Thank
We
you.
talked about
Where I got
respect
to
earlier on,
then?
weren't we?
I did ask the crowd here.
You said that
Yeah,
somebody
right.
was selling
Give-
bread.
give-
Yeah,
to the baker.
yeah, a very good baker was took the only stall I've seen in that location was identified as a place to trade along Station Road West, and they persevered for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I think they lost money because they were not doing very good trade, and it is very sad that now they've left Canterbury. They trade successfully in Faversham Market. I did speak to them at a Faversham Market on Sunday because I was very sad to lose them because it was a place to get very good bread. And they said they'd be interested in the market if it went to a central location, but they haven't made their mind up yet. And so obviously the old arrangement did have an impact to the detriment of some traders.
Yes.
And that, I, as a member of the public, would personally prefer to
And
see
we
it
are
centrally.
speaking with Gilder, and
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
on the assumption that the market does come back, it's exactly the sort of product that we want to come in on the market day to bring that local artisan bread that people are asking for in the consultations.
It
Yeah.
would actually be good for you to, it's a really good point because Faversham Market is incredibly successful. I've got friends that trade there and they really know how to run a
Yeah,
successful
it's-
market.
it-
So it would be worthwhile you speaking to them. It might be Swell Council. But
It's not.
just,
It's not
you
run,
know,
Julie. It's not run by the Swell Council.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's a
okay.
piece.
By the traders.
It's run
Is
by
it?
the traders. That's
Actually,
why it's
they're
so
by the
good.
traders.
Oh,
Well,
is
then,
it?
there you go.
It's called a
I
co-op.
think it's
Talk
Faversham
to
Town
Fav-
Council.
No, it's a
Yeah,
co-op. It's a
but they're
cooperative.
responsibility. But I've
I-
got friends that
I formed a
talk to
cooperative.
those people. Have a meeting with those people. Maybe somebody there would like to become your market manager.
Yeah, maybe
And then
you'll
you
learn
don't have
something
to- yes,
instead
you
of
could.
going off on these
You know,
tangents.
that's the way to do it, not by experimenting, having a look at a successful model and saying, how do you do it?
Can I just say, first of all, I'm more than happy to have those conversations,
Good.
and indeed we are having conversations
Yeah.
in other parts of East Kent. And we're not going off on anything. The whole reason for the consultation is to get some feedback on the proposals that we're putting out there. So, you know, we're not, as Alan was saying, this is not like we've got one vision and this is the way and everyone's going to have to go it. The whole point about the consultation is to get the feedback so we can assess that feedback about what's required and how we're going to be going forward. And that's why we can't at the moment write a job description, Julie, because we don't know exactly what sort of person is required to do what sort of job. And
But you
until
know
we
what
get
the
that
salary
feedback,
is, though. You know it's
It's
eating up
approximation.
we have to, it's
£45,000.
an
£500 a week.
it's an approximation, Julie.
I mean, you know, when you budget something, you know, you don't know the nth detail. We estimate we should get the right sort of person for about.
You know, the
with
thing
on
about
costs and all that sort of
consultations
stuff.
is, as most people will say, is that it's like when the post office was privatised, or we're going to have a consultation. It was privatised anyway because that was the plan. The problem with consultations is most of the time they are phrased in a certain way to obtain the answers that they want. And that just means that you get the green light to go ahead with policy.
I would actually also say that these two people here are policy officers and will taking the notes and
Good evening.
people that create the consultations. And if you wish, and many people do, don't they, write just a plain straightforward letter. And that's absolutely fine, and we encourage that. And if you want to do that, you can write it. You can write whatever you want, and it comes into consultation. But we do also get a lot of feedback where people want to feel that it's structured and they can do it in like 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something they want to.
Do both.
So, and that's entirely up to them. But
And
we love letters.
why is there the need for another consultation when you've had two already? Because it's new budget. And is that law?
It is. We have to, on a statutory basis, because of the expenditure, we have to consult on it, which is why it's under the auspices of the budget consultation, which is also going on. At the same time.
Fair enough.
And so it ends with a lovely open question, which is, do you have any other comments about the reintroduction of the market and how this may impact you?
I think, and I'm putting Victoria very unfortunately on the spot, which is unfair of me, but I think as we went through it, we tried to make sure that there were always open answers afterwards. So even if you feel people are being led by the nose, Julie, there is an opportunity under each question for people to give their own interpretation of what they think that question is.
Okay.
Can I just say something, right? And I'll say it very quickly because I've got to go soon.
Yeah, we have
right,
to.
So going back to when we was round the table with Colin Perris and Doug Rattray. But I can go back as far as well. I've been to all these meetings. And it was started with the Christmas market, and this is where you can see the likes of what Bab said. This is where I can show you. So they asked us would we agree if they was to keep the fees the same as the market for us to go at Christmas time into sheds to make it look Christmassy. So we agreed, didn't we? And the fact is that they said they would keep the rates the same. So we said, yeah, okay, we'll do that. The first year was a total disaster because the guy who was doing it was doing the ice ring, Nathan, he messed completely up. The second year, we got up and running with it, and we did pay them sort of rates, which was 75, 85. Then, without us knowing, the council had brought in a firm called Rockhopper, which you know are doing it now, and then the first year we did it, it was £135 a pitch, £6,000 a year, a Christmas period, which was absolutely. And now we're not even invited, even if we wanted to go in there to get it. So we've been slowly outed. And this is exactly going back to what he says about street trading. Because we've been there, we've seen it, we wore the t-shirt. We have been the ones what have actually been moved out. So I believed at first that they never thought that we could get street trading to work, and it cost us a lot of money, didn't it? But we've made it work, right? And we have made it work, right?
And you have made it work. You are the ones that made it work.
We've made it work, right? It's good for what it is, and that's for the 28.75, right? If you was to move us from there for one day, just one day, to St George's Street, it would mean a whole new way of us being laying stock out and everything. You see, people don't realise this. You have to have a way of doing it. That we're doing that for one day, messing our system up and paying stupid amounts of money
for moving 50 yards.
For moving 50 yards on the same gazebo as what we're.
You don't have to, though, do you?
No, you don't have to. But you was the ones what said we was going to bring the market back.
And that's the
right,
difference.
in the paper.
Yeah.
And the old format.
If it's made so difficult or unattractive to people who've learnt to make a living still at street trading, it isn't conducive to bringing back a market. And the other thing is that, you know, what you have there now, I was talking to ITV Meridian News. It'll go out tonight, 6 o'clock tonight. They're doing a piece on this. The Christmas market that's there, operating from those huts, some of those people are from Birmingham. They're not local people trading there. They're not local people, are these people, and they can't afford that. How much are those Christmas huts
It's a sort. I said this. So
Are
they've
the
averaged.
moment?
For 2 huts is £110
£110.
for 2 huts.
For 2 huts.
And these
Too
people,
small,
they're not
actually.
Canterbury people. They're from elsewhere. You know, these people. You know, well,
They're,
I've said
they're,
enough.
they're events people. That's what they are.
Well, just continuing my previous point, mentioning that Faversham Market, there are 3 market days in Faversham and they're all successful.
Yes, yeah.
And for members of the public like me, I enjoy visiting them. Another successful market that you might like to look at that has a very good model for trading with local traders, good quality local traders, and even a knife grinder is Deal Saturday Market.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Faversham and Deal provide an example for what I understand a lot of members of the public would like to see.
Absolutely.
In Canterbury.
And Sarah, funnily enough, who's the reporter from ITV Meridian TV News, who interviewed me today,
Yes.
she comes from Deal and she made that point.
She made that point.
She
did.
absolutely made the point about living in Deal and it having a successful life. It isn't rocket science. I mean, I'm an author now, TV writer.
Oh,
but
Julie Wassmer.
that's right.
Oh, I've met them.
Yeah, of course. But years ago, I was a market trader. I had second-hand clothes store, Kingston Market in Surrey. My husband Cass here traded in Portobello Road, Goulburn Road. It really isn't difficult. It isn't rocket science. If you wanted to really concentrate on getting Canterbury Market reinstated successfully, these are the people you should be talking to. They could do it, but they can't do it at high rent.
I'll be honest with you, Bill. I was actually ready to leave because where I was actually put outside a bank, and it wasn't really good enough because the actual camera of the bank I was covering. Now David Hart put me there, and I spoke to Steve and I said, listen, I can't do this no more. Even I made friends with the bank people. They were really kind. Said, oh, do you want tea? I was obviously there in the morning. Now, I was ready to leave. I've got a mortgage. I've got 4 kids. I need to support them. 1 day a week ain't enough for them. Yeah, but after a fair fight, I was, it was Anton that helped me. Because Anton said, when he come down to see me, he goes, who put you here? It's outside the bank. You're covering the bank's camera. And if anything went along, it would have been my fault. Well, it wasn't my fault because I was put there. Now, and Anton, he said to me, well, no, you're not going to go here. I'll make sure I'll move you. And when I asked David Hart, could I go there? He ignored me. He said, you're not going to go there. You'll never go there. And that pitch was empty since January. So why didn't they do that before for me? And I had to make it work because I've got a mortgage to pay and my kids.
Yeah.
And now having 1 day a week is not enough for me. And it ain't easy to go on markets just to get on there because fashion's a big, it's a hard game. Everyone does fashion. So
if they wanted to reinstate the market, they go Wednesday and Friday, they have a reasonable rent, because you have to remember too, which would be really sensible, that there has been no market for a year. And so people need, local people need to be reintroduced to the fact that the market is now existing again. And so you should ease in any particular rents. Allow them to come back Wednesdays and Fridays at a reasonable rent, start-off rent. They will build it up. And like Steve said, people say to him, if he says, would you join Canterbury Market if it came back? The first thing people ask, Steve, what do they say?
How much?
How much? Right? And it has to be competitive, especially because this is not the return of Canterbury Market. This is Canterbury Market being reinstated as something quite different, because remember, when it was there before, it was so important to local people, especially during the COVID crisis, because people could go there and know that they weren't having to do their shopping inside a shop. If you're really serious about it coming back, I really strongly suggest you should be talking to these people. You should be sitting round a table with them and really listening to them. And with all due respect, Bill, not coming up with a speech and a presentation like it's the council and people have a limited time to speak. These kind of discussions should have happened in May. And all right, you may not have known then what was going to happen with the budget, but like you say, you're still finding your way about whether or not what the market managers job description will be, and whether or not it's £45,000 a year.
I
But
hear
these
what
are
you
the
say,
people.
Julie, but you know, we sat down round the table with Steve, with Jeb, and we had a very long conversation.
I agree. But Councillor Dixie, who first met up with us earlier, just after the election, me and Babsing sat up in the Starbucks, and we went through everything what we felt as though would be good for the market to come back. Then that went on. I don't know where that went. Perhaps you, Councillor, perhaps you can tell me where it went, Councillor Dixie, because from when we met you, we've never heard anything about it no more.
Alan took over the responsibility for the market. That's in his portfolio.
But you, when we was up, me and Bab Singh's was up in the Starbucks. You were saying that you are in charge of getting this market back.
At that stage, that was the understanding. Then the portfolios were refined, and in fact, it became Alan's portfolio. There was some confusion early on whose portfolio it was in.
Yeah, we had a big job to break up.
But we did assume at the time that it's quite a straightforward process.
Yeah.
You know, we took notes down.
And what is sad is that two very important points here, like, you know, the impressions that Steve and the traders were given are from two different meetings where, as you've admitted, Alan, oh, well, that was a false impression, that was some confusion. That's two lots of confusions about things that are really important.
The thing that's important to me is that we are on the cusp of bringing potentially the market back to Canterbury. And you know what we are proposing is not set in stone, and we will work with Steve and the guys here to make sure that what we're offering is it's in no one's interest to make it a moribund, dead-end market. We want to work with you guys and build from it. And the opportunity of the consultation is for you to input and give your views on the direction that you think it should go. Now, part of that is about communication, and I hold my hands up with some degree of guilt that I haven't communicated with you as much as I probably should have done. But the point is, with some extra resource coming in, with some focus on what we're trying to deliver, using the area that we've got in St George's, which has been tidied up, let's leave it that way so that we can use it in a more effective way. There is a real positive opportunity here to build from that from April of this year, and that's got to be something we grasp. I know that there's an awful lot of water that's passed under the bridge, but I think we've got a chance here to really move forward in a really positive way.
I've got one question. Talking about the development, I mean, that's what, you know, that was the rationale for getting rid of the market, was the development of St George's Street, putting down what was essentially at the beginning going to be a grand vision, another grand vision of a boulevard of trees, and the new paving. Now that was 1.2 million. The boulevard of trees didn't happen because you couldn't get rid of the 5 mature trees, because it then was discovered that, you know, KCC came under their jurisdiction. They wouldn't let you have the permission. But where did the 1.2 million go for that paving? There are, you know, there's a few seats around 5 trees there, and that paving, where that 1.2 million, you can't tell me that's gone on the paving. And couldn't that money be used to help this?
I can, Julie, because that was the cost of delivering that project. I'm telling you now, in terms of the space and the requirement to take out what was there, level and deal with the utility issues that were under there, and repave with the sets that are there now, it came in on budget at £1.2 million.
Well, less obviously the budget for the boulevard of trees, because they didn't happen. So there's a bit of extra money there, presumably.
Redo the trees, didn't they?
The trees were pollarded by KCC. That would
not
have been...
those trees. There was a boulevard of trees was
in the original
included.
Plan. Yes, in the original plan.
Well, the boulevard of trees didn't happen.
No,
so
but that would, in the scale of that would not have been a significant amount of money.
Don't look after the pennies. You won't be able to look after the pounds, Bill.
I've got to go.
I'll just be slightly candid for a minute or two anyway. You know, the consultation is out there, right? And listening to tonight, I think I could be saying that there's a lot of people in this room that would soon be street trading. There's some people that would like to have a market. There's a lot of people that are not really fussed one way or the other, and there's some people that, you know, I'm getting a real mixed message, right? And that's fine, because we're in a consultation mode. So I don't have that certainty coming here tonight that we've got a great deal of support for one or the other. Maybe we just got support for the status quo. I don't know, but that's what I'm looking for, the consultation to try to firm up. And just to answer some of the points that Julie says about I don't know what I'm talking about because I've got a right spec for the market trader's job, or the market, the Tony's for the job, whatever. Actually, at this stage, it's really early because we need to understand very fully what the view of people of this district think about Canterbury Market. Right? If the view is that we don't want one, it's not too late to stop it.
So the view from the public side was made with benefit of Harding getting thrown out. They told you what they want. They want a market.
So
right?
that's why I'm very
They also got thrown out because
but that was a part of it.
It was we campaigned very strongly as market supporters to get shot of him and to vote tactically because of this policy.
I'm actually pretty convinced that the people actually want a market.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm willing to put my sort of reputation on that.
Does the consultation define the difference between a street trader and a market trader? It does.
Yeah, I mean, we're asking, are you a street trader or are you a trader? That's the one question.
No, I mean the public. I mean not the traders.
Then it says these questions are more related to if you're a trader or a street trader.
But if it doesn't define, I mean, most people don't know there's a difference between street trader and the market trader. So how are they going to identify the market?
But there's a set of questions that are related to whether you want to be a market trader or a street trader. You are one or the other, or you don't know what those sort of things. So there's a set of questions for that, which all you guys can actually do. And there's obviously people normally just asking what they want. So anyway, that's the point I'm making. We'd love to have more time on the consultation. Please do take a minute or two to do it. Paper copies at the back. For it. And we'll see what we do. I'm hoping our vision is okay.
I do hope that you have more meetings with the market traders because
Once
It has to happen.
Once we've got permission of the people to go ahead with it, which I think we have.
So there won't be any meetings until you get the consultation result, till you collate all the consultation
Probably
results.
sensible.
There's not going to be any meetings, okay?
Sensible enough, I think. Yeah.